What's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this, we'll be doing the free-to-play tier list update number 3 or 4. I can't remember, actually. It's only been a few updates, but I can't remember already. We're doing the free-to-play tier list update for March 2019. And for all of you guys who did comment on the previous video for the previous Legend tier list for March, thank you for your comments. I really do appreciate it. Please, if you're going to make a comment about a unit and want to make them up to a different tier for a God tier, whatever, just please give more explanation to your comment. I cannot answer every single comment on this unit's better than this unit, and I like this better, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that. You know, I really want to make sure that I give you guys appropriate feedback, and if you want to give me appropriate feedback, make sure to give me an explanation as to why you think a unit should move up or down. Make changes like that, please either join us during the tier list streams or give me an articulate comment as to why they should move up or down. A rage comment does not help, though. I'm sorry. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright guys, so guys, if you have not been here for the free-to-play tier list, the tier list schema is a little bit different than before. Now, free-to-play tier lists are very, very simple in how we are going to do the rankings because there's only going to be 4 tiers. The first tier ranking is going to be, all these tier rankings are not going to be based on by unit. There's no reason to do that because you can't rate one free-to-play unit better than another free-to-play unit individually and rank them from top to bottom. There makes no sense there because you should farm most of them anyways. This ranking system is really just based on helping players know, hey, what unit is really not useful to farm because I want to put my time into everything. Honestly, you should always farm every single unit in the game, but if time is limited, you should prioritize the ones you can do right away. So what should be your priority? And that is the reason for doing this list. This list is actually going to rank other free-to-play units and does not compare them to rare recruit units at all. It does, however, take into consideration legendary captain abilities. And the reason it does that is because no one really builds full free-to-play teams anymore. They will use legend friend captains, they will use legend captains with free-to-play subs. It's very rare to see somebody using free-to-play full teams, and that is really just as a, hey, I can do this free-to-play, not like I need this for this content. So the goal of this tier list, again, is not to help people who are trying to build extremely free-to-play teams, is to help people understand what are the best units to farm for a lot of teams or specific teams. So guys, going into the tier list for the rankings, the must-farm tier lists are units you gotta farm no matter what. There's no reason you should not farm these ever. Pretty much every single treasure mode unit is going to be in this list, but there are treasure mode units that, you know, are like priorities for blue tick, etc., and those kind of get, then that's why there's a ranking there anyways. The useful tier is going to help for units that are really useful for a lot of situations, but are not units that are going to be like, this is game breaking for my account. They're going to be really useful for like 1 to 2 to 5 sets of content, and when that stuff does come out, you're like, oh, I wish I had that unit. But they're not going to be units that if you didn't have them in account would be kind of game breaking and you cannot progress. So must farm and useful, that's kind of the delineation between the two. Power creep units, there are better rare recruits than these units that are, there's so many rare recruits that are better than this unit, and you're gonna have a rare recruit that is gonna be in this category no matter what. Or there's going to be characters that are legendary captains that you would be using for this category that are just so much better that you wouldn't even consider bringing this unit in general. And there are going to be times where power creep units are going to be useful for certain situations. However, with power creep units, they can be good, they can be bad, but they're more of a niche tier kind of unit. And they're going to be the throwback unit that you had to farm because you don't have the X unit. And this is the, I really need to farm this right now because I don't have the other farmable unit that is available, but because it hasn't been out in so many months or whatever. Or I can't buy them with blue tickets. And then trash tier, fuck it. Why bother? No one farms this unit ever. And there are going to be very few units in this tier list that are in the trash tier, and the units that are in there are going to be facepalm Bandai Y. And all right, guys, we're going to be going into the free-to-play tier list for March of 2019. We did, of course, have chat help us out with a lot of different things. There are global-specific things in here as well. So, guys, if you are on global, this will help you out there. So, the first off, we're going to have the new treasure mode units, and we're going to be going over all the treasure mode units for the future so you know exactly which units are really, really good and which are bad, etc. So, the first off, we're going to have the new Smoothie and Oven character, which is we're calling Smoothin. Smoothie Oven's fine, but Smoothin if you really need short. Not Smoothin, Smoothin. We took a vote. Smoothin' one. Then it's going to be Doflamingo Treasure Mode, who is also a very, very good driven unit. Smoothie and Oven is a very good unit in general. It's probably one of the best treasure mode units in the game, so that's very interesting. Nami Nami, the reason she's going to stay in the must farm tier is she has a lot of utility and is a very good captain for Striker and Cerebral. Not really going to see that too often, but if you do need either of those teams together, that'd be a really useful unit. Then we're going to have Law, who's going to be a fighter slasher unit. He's a very good unit coming out. Definitely farm him, really good for carrot teams, as well as really good to pair with carrot if needed. So definitely farm out that. Then we have Jack, still in the must farm tier, a very, very good unit, and is still used to this day. What's really surprising is Jack on release really looks stupid, but as time has gone on, very good. He's going to stay there in a long time. Treasure Mode Enel, of course, a lot of you are wondering he's going to be in the must farm tier, and many of you who are now in global are going to have Treasure Mode Shanks going to be coming out very soon. Yes, he's very good. His orb manipulating is good, his damage is good, and there are a lot of possibilities with Shanks, and you will definitely use him because he is one of the first characters in the entire game with double special. So definitely go for Treasure Mode Shanks. Super, super good unit. Then we have Sabo staying in the must farm tier. We actually had a slight discussion on this for Treasure Mode Sabo, even though he's not used much anymore. I was trying to figure out as to why, and the reason is the last Cerebral Legend that came out was version 1 Katakuri. The last 6+ that came out was 6+ in Arashi, which kind of everybody glossed over and said whatever. And I think that's the reason that Treasure Mode Sabo has seen a lot less use. It's because of that. So I agree. I mean, it's not this bad. And there was some debate on stream as to Gear 4 Luffy moving down to the useful tier. And to be honest, I would be okay with that if one thing actually came out. And there would have to be another unit in the game, Rare Recruit, Legend, whatever, that is a universal color affinity booster. I think there is none that is non-conditional. There's conditional ones that are like Brook, and then there's ones like Nami, as well as the new Cracker that have some conditions as well. But I don't think there's any universal color affinity boosters in the game besides limited Rare Recruit Killer and Brook. And I think there might be one more or something like that, but to be honest, he's free to play and still super good. So I don't really see much use of him nowadays, but he's still good. Then going down, we put Big Mom in the useful tier, and the change here is actually, I was asked to do this and I just forgot to click it, is Big Mom is actually going to move up to the must farm tier. And the reason for that is over time, Big Mom has been seen less as a captain and more as a good sub. And the reason she's an amazing sub and moving up to the must farm tier is that she is one of the few characters that can get around orb beneficial disable. And we actually have credit here to Multifrank, I believe, and Multifrank says, Big Mom is an all-around boost and full board control that cheats badly matching orb debuff. For limited space due to utility for over and lack of good boosters become rare. Her sailor ability can't be blown away, can be abused for niche content, and again, Big Mom is a very good unit for free to play, and even rare recruits don't match what she can do. I agree. That is actually a very good point. There's a lot of rare recruits that cannot do what she can do, and the fact that you get orb boost, type boost, and color fitting in one unit is nice. However, the amount of boost that you're going to get out of it, that all said and done, really doesn't help for like a final boss, but does help for a stage 4. So I definitely agree there's a lot of positives to Big Mom, and she will be moving directly up to the must farm tier. Other changes though, we're having Treasure Mode Ace move down to the useful tier. Treasure Mode Ace moving down is basically because there is more and more units that are going to be very, very good. It's not that he got worse, it's that Free Spirit just can't keep up with content, and he was mainly used as a Free Spirit captain. As far as color-based teams go for Ace, it's very difficult to use him in a color-based team. There are possibilities for him. He didn't get worse, he's still good. We're just having less use of him, and there's too many other units in the game that can do better things than him. The full board orb manipulate, the type boost that you get with him is extremely good still. However, I think that he should move down to the useful tier. Still a very good unit, but it's very difficult as time goes on to use this unit for future content. As far as a sailor for other content, it's very difficult as well to use him as a sailor for current content. Then we got Cavendish still in the useful tier, Kaido in the useful tier. I honestly wanted to put him in the power crap tier, but honestly, there are probably content that's gonna be coming out that he's gonna be more useful for. Another thing that came up was Zoro Sanji being moving out of the useful tier. Honestly, he's really good for Raid Zoro, and there are other content that he could be useful for, and I don't think that it's premature to move him out. But if you have other opinions on Zoro Sanji, let me know. Croc, there was a lot of love for Croc, and people said he's really, really good, and he should be moved into the must farm tier. And the rationale is because he's really good for Neptune teams and for really not as good teams. And we decided as a whole to say, you know what, there's no reason for a unit that is good for bad teams to move up. He's still a very good unit for Neptune teams, for teams with low captains like buggy teams. to get more damage, and that's great, but you're just trying to use him for teams that you already built poorly. So moving him up, I mean, just so that you get more rewards out of content. I mean, that's, I guess, but I'm gonna keep him a useful tier. Must farm. It's kind of like, yeah, you know. And then as far as Neptune units go, with the introduction of Treasure Mode Enel, there's very few reasons to ever use Croc on your Neptune teams, because the refresh on the Enel special makes him godly and be able to use him a lot of different times. Also, we were trying to figure out when the time frame of stopping to use Neptune would be. It's around Pirate level 440, and that's where you get 240 stamina, and that's where you should probably start using double Enel Captain for your Fortnights instead of double Neptune, because you really shouldn't be worrying too much about stamina gains at that point. Then going on, wipe your studying the useful tier, and then Treasure Mode Boa. I'm sorry, she waifu as hell, but she's so niche. She's so niche, and she is so incredibly difficult to use. And on a Beige team, you have to use a full board Orb Manipulator first, and then you can use Boa twice in order to get that. And what people were telling me, the thing that you use Boa most for is the heal. And that is not the mark of a good Treasure Mode unit. I'm sorry, that's just doo-doo. She's good, but God is she hard to use. She is so difficult to use. And even with Beige as your captain, oh God, she's hard. All right, moving down into the Colosseum tier list, we're gonna go over Smoothie. Smoothie is going to be a Slasher Powerhouse unit. She is a very strong unit that came out to the Japanese version. I believe she is a powerhouse booster in some way. She is going to give Dex Quick Int beneficial to Slasher Powerhouse, and if your captain is Slasher Powerhouse, she gives Color Affinity 1.75 for 3 turns. So, wow, really good. So, super good unit that's coming out. Magellan is another self-proccing conditional character based off of Toxic, I believe, or Poison, I believe. I got to double check on that. But he's it might be defense down. I have to double. Yeah, it's off poison or strongly poison, and it's self-proccing, so it's really good. I really like that, and it's not defense down and it's not delay, so it's really easy to get around the other mechanics with this poison conditional. And the other thing that he does, which is really, really valuable, is 100% defense reduction. So super good unit. It removes percent damage reduction as well as threshold damage reduction by 2 turns, so that's also very helpful. So there's a lot of mechanics on his kit that are really strong, and he's a tiered special, so you can even use the tier 1 special to get a 1.5 times conditional. So if you have special rollback problems, you still get some extra damage. So it's really good. New Colosseum Oven is a very good unit as well. He's kind of like Lucy, but for orb boost, but it's conditional, and it also does a large amount of damage to one unit if you have a lot of color orbs. So super good unit that comes out. Then we got Neptune, of course, as TS Kid. All the units are going to stay in here. There's no real changes for the must farm tier. Those are going to all stay the same. And for the useful tier, there's not going to be too many changes as well. Some units did move down. Looking at the units that moved down, we got Thunderlord McGuy as well as Danton Jiao. I'm looking at you, Twitch chat, for Danton Jiao. Then we got Machbeast that moved down as well, Kairos, Ideo, and Kuma. And the reason that these units have moved down is because delay, 2-turn delay, not super useful anymore. Delay is kind of moved out of the meta in general. Kairos' speed team farming can now be power cut by other rare recruit units and free-to-play units that are faster. So not faster, but better for the different speed teams that you're going to be running. So it's kind of completely moved out of the meta. Ideo, not super great anymore because there's a ton of orb boosters for a fighter. So many. There's the new the raid garb. There's tons of rare recruits. There's limited rare recruits. There's too many other units in the game that have orb boosts. So that's why Ideo is kind of out. Even though not many of them are 1 or 2 times or better, Ideo at that 2 times is great. But of course, there's a lot of other units that are great, that are better. And honestly, with the increased damage taken buff, I believe Ideo gives to your team also kind of like a not so great. Kuma is also going to move down to the power cut tier because he does do a lot of utility, but the problem with Kuma is not super useful for like anything. You never use Kuma. No other changes here for the power cut tier, and we have our first addition ever to the trash tier. Fight me, Reddit. I don't care. I hate this unit. Colosseum Pika. He's the first unit from Colosseums to not have a captain ability at all. He does not have a captain ability. 0 captain ability at all. You can only get a captain ability out of him if you swap to him as a sailor. The fuck. And his 6 times self boost, no boost to the entire team, and 70% DR. He does 300,000 damage to 1 unit. Honestly, I know so many people that skip this Colosseum. I was one of them. I said, what the fuck, Bandai? This is trash. Like, I don't understand how you could come out with a unit that's so booty. I mean, honestly, he's really good for stage 7 Garp, right? But then when are you going to use him after that? So, guys, he's booty. I'm sorry. There's just no reason to farm him. All right, now we're going to move into the raid bosses, which are the Kai and Neo raids are going to be excluded. The first off is going to be the new addition of the Raid Sengoku and Garp character, who's the real Goku. This character is awesome. I have no problems. He's amazing. No problems at all. Next is new Arlong. That's all I'm going to say about him. He's awesome. Arlong is a must farm tier. He does some really interesting things, and the fact that he's 3-term 1.75 orb boost is really good. And he has orb manipulated as well for block orbs, I believe. So all of that good, and I think he has some utility as well. So no problems there. No other changes for must farm tier. There have not been a ton of raids. There's no changes for units moving down, but the only other character moving up into must farm is going to be the new Raid Bellamy Limit Break. And if you don't know about the Raid Bellamy Limit Break, oh my fucking god, it's strong. Raid Bellamy initially was a two socket character at 15 turns that had a 1.75 orb boost that was universal. On his limit break, he's making recovery orbs driven, matching for driven. He's going to go up from 2 sockets to 5 sockets. The fuck. Go up by a decent amount of attack, and he is also going to have double special. That's right, he's a 1.75 universal orb booster with double special. That's awesome. So you can use it in stage 4 and stage 5. It's fucking awesome. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, okay, moving on. Then we got Shanks Mihawk, which is really interesting. I initially put him in the useful tier, and then somebody brought up a good comment as to why we should move him up to the higher tier. And I believe Solaris had mentioned like people were starting to use him on Whitebeard Marco teams for content. I was trying to figure out why, and the reason is because he is a non-restrictive conditional booster. He's only HP restrictive, and that's actually pretty easy to attain on another team. So other teams it's pretty easy to do. So if you're using a Whitebeard chip on like Whitebeard Marco teams, he'll fit on that team and work really well. So you can actually get a full boost if you use the int side, which will be Mihawk. 1.75 conditional with self-procking is very, very strong, and his swap also changes all orbs too, which is really nice. And you can use some kind of quick beneficial enable like Frankie if you wanted to, in order to make best beneficial enable orbs to all. So there's a lot of possibilities with him, and overall, I do like the Shanks Mihawk unit as a sub. As a captain, not so much. He's kind of whatever, but as a sub, I'd say, yeah, he's really strong. No other changes for the useful tier, I believe. I'm going to keep Boa, by the way, in the useful tier. We talked about it briefly. Very few characters in the game are free to play that also provide a 2-turn chain lock, and there are some chain locks in the game that are like 99 turns, and they like lock your chain at 1.1 for like 99 turns, and that's super annoying. So Boa is one of those few characters that you can pop a chain lock on a previous stage and then bring it into the next room. There are some other characters that you can manipulate for that, but other than that, it is really good to use her as a chain lock counter. And there are very few other units you can use for that are free to play anyways. And if they are free to play, their stats are too low to even use on a team. We're moving Thesoro down to the power crypt tier, mainly because it's getting harder and harder to use him in content because there's too many HP restrictive contents, whereas his special ability is completely reliant on your HP value, so there's no reason to keep him there. And then the last thing we're going to add in here is Big Emperor. And you can give me some comments on this one. Personally, I really just don't like this unit in general, and I'm going to put him in the power crypt tier. But if you have some positives you want to give me on this unit, and you really want to move him up to a different tier, and you think he's like either must farm tier or the useful tier, please give me some info. I mean, specific info. I'm not talking about anecdotal info. Oh, he's really good for this situation. I need a specific instance where he's clutch as fuck. I need specific content where he is clutch as fuck. Give me that, and I'll definitely move him up. But anecdotal information on he's really good because of this reason. Is really good for this this type of situation. But if it hasn't happened yet, anecdotal information is not going to help me. He's power crept here. Then for Kai and Colosseums, there's going to be Neo raids and Colosseums. There's no changes because Kai raids and Neo Colosseums have all but died out, and the only one that has been coming out recently is the new Kai/raid Garp. I guess it's Neo Garp because it's never coming on JP. Somebody made a good joke earlier today. I think it was Ida, and he said, "You know what? I was looking for the game with page on Neo Garp, and I couldn't find it." Good meme. Neo Garp couldn't find the game with page. Garp, he's okay, but he's like you're never gonna use him. 1.75 fighter booster. I mean, there's a dime a dozen. Hard pass. Power crept here. Moving on. And the last section we're going to go over is going to be the ambush and invasion section. And this is going to, of course, add the addition, nice. Lin or Invasion Big Mom. She is amazing, but super hard to get. Like, way harder just to spawn than any other invasion before. Like, Shanks, Whitebeard, Garp, Sengoku, and Cavendish never had this problem of a ridiculously difficult to spawn invasion. It's not that it's like a difficult invasion, it's that it's hard to get it to spawn. And the invasion rates are much lower than all the other invasions, which I definitely hate. And I still don't have this unit, and I want it. But it is what it is. Alright guys, my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, comment section down below if you guys have thoughts and opinions on specific units. And if you want to give me specific scenarios where they're useful as well as why they're useful, that would be super helpful in changing my opinion as well as chat's opinion on exactly what they can do for current content as well as future content. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to like down below, it really helps the video gain traction, of course, and helping other players out in this new free-to-play content, of course. And if you do want to subscribe to the channel and you get notifications every time I drop a video, go ahead and do that as well. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.